I'm wearing a shirt, I promise, but today we're talking about Double Dragon Gaiden, Rise of the Dragons. I beat this game, and it's a hard-as-nails beat-em-up game, and it's a brand new beat-em-up from the iconic Double Dragon series, and I think it's flippin' fantastic. Now, take that with a grain of salt, though, because I have never played another Double Dragon game, at least to completion. I've dabbled in the original NES one, but I just couldn't really get into it. But I really got into this one, and I'm excited to talk about it today. But before we dive too far in, I just want to show all the developers out there who might be watching, and if you are a developer, send me games, please. But look at how well they packaged this. Not only did we get stickers, but we got a whole ass poster. I mean, people, take notes. Nintendo, take notes. We want more from the little clips in the game case. It makes sense to put something in there. So I appreciate what's in there. But we're going to dive into my review of Double Dragon Gaiden, Rise of the Dragon. When I first heard about this game, I was super excited about it because it was a new beat 'em up, and I've been on sort of a beat 'em up kick if you don't know. I really enjoyed Streets of Rage 4 and Scott Pilgrim and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Shredder's Revenge, of course, and so I wanted to see how this iconic franchise stacked up against them, and I guess let's just dive into that. So, the presentation of this game is really good. I really enjoyed the art style. It sort of reminds me of something akin to Scott Pilgrim, and I know some people probably aren't going to love the fact that it is a chibi art style, especially because those original Double Dragons don't really seem like that. I mean, they seem to be sort of going for a more realistic approach with a bit more grittiness, but I think the chibi just really is, it's cute, but it also is just kind of awesome. It allows for some gorgeous pixel art that is throughout the entire game. And if you really want those classic models, you can always check out the stickers that they gave us, right? I don't know if you guys can see that too well. But yeah, the art style is beautiful, and I thought the music and the sound effects in this game were really done well as well. I mean, nothing really crazy stood out to me in the terms of the sound department, but it was all solid and fun and good. And to tell you the truth, I was listening to podcasts through half of it. Sorry. Of course, in classic beat-em-up fashion, it is a 2D side-scrolling, just top to bottom beat-em-up where you're just fighting through waves of enemies to get to the big bad at the end. But the thing that's different about this game is that there's no levels. You know how in Shredder's Revenge there were different levels that you went through and it would save afterwards? Well, it doesn't do that in this game. Instead, it takes more of a roguelike approach where you basically reset after every time you die, unless you have enough of these tokens or enough money to revive yourself. It's not the worst, but I definitely prefer the other style where it would save after every level, because sometimes it was super difficult and I'd finally get through it and I'd be like, thank God, only to just be knocked right down by the next wave of bad guys. I understand why they did this and to keep that challenge alive, and that's totally fair. Plus, there is difficulty settings. If you're someone who just wants to get through this game and have a decent time, you can crank it all the way down low, or if you want someone who wants to just have the worst time ever and be fuming and frustrated for your entire life, which I would assume you would be after playing something I can't even imagine cranking it all the way up to that extra spicy level. But hey, if that's you, you do you, and you can do it in this game. The adaptability of this game is very cool, and the fact that you can just do it and conquer it and however you like. I played it middle of the road. I got super frustrated. It's actually, I have a stream of it. I didn't end up finishing it on stream, but a couple days later, I finally finished it, and I think it's just a very fun beat 'em up. Most of the value here is in the replayability, because obviously, like roguelikes, you are constantly getting power-ups, and then some of those power-ups you can save for your next run, and vice versa, and so you have a little bit more powerful characters and stuff like that, and that is nice and gives it a lot of that replay value, but at the same time, going over and over enemies you've already beaten can get sort of tedious. But if you like that roguelike style, I mean, it's totally up your alley. This would be a great one for you. Personally, I'm not a roguelike person at all. I really just don't like those games. It just pisses me off when now you have to go all the way back to the beginning. And I know that's how the early beat 'em ups were, and if you wanted to continue, you threw a quarter in the arcade machine. But now I think we have a bit of a better way to just structure the beat 'em ups, and it's not a problem necessarily with this game. I just have preferences towards another. But the characters each play very differently. You have a choice between 4 at the beginning, and you have those 2 classic guys, the girl with the gun and the big dude. He plays really slowly, so I didn't really like playing him a lot. I like playing as the blonde guy with the kicks and the girl with the gun, because she kept the homies at bay. It's a pretty fun game, and I just like The dodges and the tag team mechanic of it is also really cool. So in these other beat 'em ups I've played, I have not experienced the tag team just part of it, I guess, and so I did think that that was a really fun part of the game and differentiated itself a lot from the other ones. And of course, like most beat 'em ups, all of the characters have different play styles, and it really depends on how you prefer to play, and having the option to have 2 of them at all time, that's awesome, because if you, like what I did with the girl with the gun, is I would keep them at bay with her, and then if they got too close, I'd go for the kicky guy, and it actually seemed to work out pretty well. And they also have a lot of different mechanics with one where the blonde guy and the guy in red, they can both pick up items that other enemies have dropped, and then you can utilize that, and then you do this thing called a special KO, and then if you do enough of those in a row, you just get rewards and you can get more health, which is fantastic because health is really your main enemy in this game because you're constantly going to need it and constantly going to be dying. It's a tough game, but at the end of the day, if you're a big beat 'em up fan, I think this is definitely a must-have. I had a very good time with it, and I'm going to give it a solid 7 out of 10. It's a great game. I just prefer the style of other beat 'em ups over it, but as a whole, I had a good time. I liked the way it was structured, and when you keep going through the game, there are differences because it depends on which order you fight these bad guys. If you fight them in different orders, you get to experience a bit more of each area. You'll understand what that means as you're going through the game, I'm sure, but let me know what you think of this game down in the comments below. Are you going to pick it up? I mean, it's only like 20 bucks on Amazon, so it can't hurt, and I will see you in this video. It's a vibe, it's a banger, it's a good time. That was out of order, but Shredder's Revenge, great game. Check it out. Thank you. Bye bye.